Good morning, friends. So today on our theme of light and building each other up, we're going to do a little craft. I've got a couple more lessons on it, but I thought I'd pause and do this great practical craft that has been lifting me up so much the last couple days. It's so exciting. I'm not going to do the best job ever, but if you want to look on Facebook, there's a group called, hold on a second, Catholic Women's Bible Journaling, and they do a fantastic job over there. So Bible journaling is kind of like how I do Lectio Divina, only these people do beautiful artwork. They are so inspiring, and they have lots of pictures of what they're doing there, and just ideas on what journals and stuff they use. We're not using a journal today. I just wanted to get you out there and looking at some really beautiful contemporary Catholic art that women are doing. So side note, everyone knows probably that I've been using the new map to try and lose some weight. They are not paying me. This is not a paid promotion. I am totally paying that myself. I begged my husband to let me do it because it's a 4-month program. It's not super cheap, but it's been working. And one of the things I've been doing is meal prepping, which I'd done before, but my choices of what I was meal prepping with were not the best. And so now I'm using little mason jars like this one. This one has iced tea in it though. And I've been putting in it some non-fat Greek yogurt, plain, don't have the vanilla, and the vanilla ones and stuff tend to have a lot of sugar in them. So I've been using the plain, put it in the bottom. And then I have some steel cut oatmeal, and then I layer on top some frozen fruit that I've chopped up. And I put a lid on, and I do a bunch of them at a time, and I put them in the fridge. And then I can just grab them because I need convenience in the morning. And if it's not nutritious, I don't even care. I used to be a Diet Coke and a Kit Kat kind of person, frozen Kit Kat. If you went to high school with me, you know that about me. That was my breakfast of choice for decades. It's awful. So I've been doing these, and they're working really great. So they're still convenient, and it turns out they're nutritious. Well, this week, Ball came out with, and again, totally not paid promotion, and I haven't even tried these out yet. They call these leak-proof storage lids. So I got them in the, is it called the smallmouth size? Let's see, it says regular. This is called the regular size. It's this. See, they screw right on here. So if you're using it for meal prep, you don't want to use those metal lids because they can get a little nasty. And these guys can go in the dishwasher. There's no rubber seal or anything, so I'm not sure how they're leak proof, but I'm kind of excited to find out. And now because I've invested in a set of new ones for the jars that I'm meal prepping with, they're going to look different than the plastic lids I use on the big ones that I use for the freezer and the fridge. So the old ones are white. So everybody will know which ones are for my meal prepping. So that'll make them stand out a little bit more in the fridge. So that's a benefit right there for me. Okay, so how are we doing this craft? We are going to go back to kindergarten. And I'm not joking because we were talking about things letting in the light and encouraging each other. So I took some words that encouraged me. Again, this is so basic. I did this morning before I had iced tea, so don't judge. I just took a regular piece of printer paper, and this one has stuff on it. It's okay, I can just cut it off. So the one I used was a half sheet. I just cut off something that only printed on the half, and I was done with anyway, so I just reused the paper. I just scribbled out some words that made me happy. So I have joy in the middle. Remember Psalm 100 about making a joyful noise? And then I wrote words that would be joyful noises to me. So I have thank you. I have some music notes. Merry Christmas. Love it. Have a blessed day. Things that I want to say. So this is kind of like my Lectio that I would normally do, where when I hear something, so I could read Psalm 100 and write down some keywords that jumped out at me. And then I'm going to reflect on them and go more deeply in them. Like, why do these words speak to me? And why these words were speaking to me, why joy really is what stood out. Besides, it was my friend Joy who said it. Yesterday, I went to the grocery store. I had no stamps. And I normally go through the self-scanner line, and I didn't. I went through the main line, and the woman in front of me was having a lot of trouble. She had, she was like a 50 million coupon person, and she was writing a check and wanted cash back. And she was very tasky and grumpy and not super pleasant, but the cashier was so patient and kind. I don't know, that's what started this all. And so I'm like, oh, I don't have my card, but I have a photo of my bonus card. Can you use that? And of course it never scans, and she got it to scan. I was like, you have to put in the number. It doesn't. Of course she got to scan right away, and then we were laughing. And, I'm bagging my own stuff, and she was kind of laughing at the things I had because there's some Christmas gifts in there. And then, of course, I was like, oh, stamps. I need stamps. And she's like, well, we've got religious and non-religious. I was like, ooh, let me see the religious. And they were Mary and the baby Jesus. And I guess she could see how excited I was. And the woman behind me is like, oh, I need to look at this too. I totally forgot I needed stamps. Thank you so much for reminding me. And we were just kind of got silly, and it was just sweet. It was like we were all old friends suddenly. And it was just really touching. And so I finished paying, and I ride the bus. So I'd gotten myself a snack. Bus isn't going to be there for another half hour. I went and sat down and got out everything for my snack. And I got out my little book. I was going to work on today's lesson. And I was sitting there, and it's like, oh no, I have stuff under my cart that I didn't pay for. I've never done that before. So I had to put everything back in my cart, turn around, and thank goodness nobody had come in that line yet, because it was so funny. So they're like, oh, you're back, yay! And they were like, is everything okay? And I just like went under the cart, grabbed it, and boom, plunked it on the belt there, and we all laughed. They were like, oh, I've done that before. And the cashier was like, thank you so much for being honest. And it was like, no, I was so sorry I did that, because I felt like I could get her in trouble that she didn't catch it, because that's why I went through the same line. I was like afraid if I went to another line, like they'd get mad at her, and it was totally my fault. Totally my fault. And we just all were laughing and having such a great time. And of course the cashier was so great. She's still doing her job the whole time she's talking and laughing with us. And it was so funny, because you know how much I talk about how when your well is filled, it just spills out. So it's like, what, December 4th? And we're all like, Merry Christmas. We're practically hugging each other. So joyful noise, that is what the whole joyful noise thing was to me, because this is the only time of year where it's really acceptable to be like that. Like a lot of other times we try and say like, have a blessed day, and you're kind of afraid to say it, right? You're kind of afraid to say have a blessed day, because so many people can get angry about, but this time of year, people are a little more lenient. Some people are like, well, you know, I don't celebrate Christmas. Yeah, that's not it. We'll just be like, well, then have a great day. You know, just come back, but go ahead and say Merry Christmas. And if they don't like that, then yeah, just be, well, okay, well, I'm thinking of you today. Is that good? You know? It's like, I'm sorry. Just be like, oh, I'm sorry. The joy of Christ just welled up in my heart, and I couldn't help but share them. I don't know. Come up with a nice way of saying it. Anyway, so that's why these words came to me. So I was thinking of things I like to hear people say that make me feel that way, feel joyful noise. And so I wrote them down. And this is the old preschool craft where you then rub your paper with a little bit of cooking oil. Now I don't have little kids, and I have crayons in this house, I swear, and I couldn't find them. All I could find was these erasable crayons. So they didn't write super dark. And I learned when you're rubbing the oil on, if you're using erasable ones, flip it to the back and rub the oil on the back. If you rub it on the front, you're going to smear your erasable crayons. So do it on the back of it. And it works fine. And this looks, I know it looks kind of plain here, but it looks really spectacular on my kitchen window with the light coming through. I was really happy with it. So then when I'm standing there doing dishes or getting ready to cook, I have that beautiful message right there. You can hang Christmas decorations, sure. That's another option. Just hang some Christmas decorations that make you happy. I don't particularly like hanging Christmas decorations in the kitchen because I don't want them getting nasty. And so you're probably saying, if you're like me and this is what your art looks like, there are other options. Now that's very meaningful to me, so I still love it. I might do a better version later. Hopefully I will find some crayons. But I totally have another option for you. So remember our Happy Planner stickers? We've talked about the different kinds. So if it's matte, like it's flat, it's not shiny, I don't know, matte. They won't really work for this craft. What you want is these ones that are shiny. The ones that are shiny are going to be translucent. They're going to let light through, and there's a number of them in the Christmas pack as well as in others. So I actually combined a couple packs. Instead of using regular paper, so I didn't use the regular office paper, I grabbed wax paper. And you could cut this cute. You could cut your wax paper. You could use cookie cutters to cut out a big shape, right? Or whatever. If you wanted to cut out a shape, I just cut out a bad rectangle. Don't judge. And then I put on little stickers. So you can see it still makes like a little sun catcher. So this one up here has encourage, instruct, mentor, praise, influence, guide, inspire, and teach. And then my little teacher to-do glasses, which look like mine. They say choose joy. And then I have like a little bird and a tree and some flowers and a package. And if you're someone who is really gets seasonal sadness, get some Christmas stickers, but then add in some summer stickers, like some flamingos and flowers and things that make you happy. Personalize it and put that somewhere where you are going to see it, because that's not a decoration really for everybody. Other people might be encouraged by it, but that is really for you. So take those words that and Bible verses that we used yesterday and kind of do a sort of Lexio on it, right? Come up with things that bring you joy and make yourself little ornaments to hang where you're doing your chores. So where you're wrapping gifts, where you're doing laundry, where you're doing baking cookies, hang little cute little sun catchers or something for yourself. And you might find little signs like come let us adore him. Maybe there's one of those that speaks to your heart and you could put that up somewhere. I like having that one right behind me to remind me why we're here, friends, why we're here, right? To adore him and to bring him glory. So I think that's all for today. Like I said, there's a couple more things I want to talk about in this series. So please stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe. If you see the little circle with my picture come up in the corner, you can click on that and you can subscribe to the channel. There's a little bell symbol, and if you click on that, it will ring and let you know anytime I post new content. And then of course I'm trying to put up somewhere a little rectangle, normally down on the bottom. And that's so that you can choose a video to watch. Another video, it might be one of mine, it might be someone else's, but it's supposed to be best for you, the viewer. So I'm trying to help you out. God bless you all, friends. And I'm not afraid to say it, even though it's only Advent. Okay, happy Advent. Get out there and choose joy, friends. Choose the joy of Christ and just be ready. Get ready. He's coming. Use joy to open your heart. Amen, friends.